I need a sign, let me know you're here. All of these lines are being crossed over the atmosphere. I need to know that things are gonna look up, 'cause I feel it's drowning in a sea spilled from a cup. When there is no place safe and no safe place to put my head. When you feel the world shake from the words that are said. And I'm calling all angels. And calling all you angels. And I won't give up if you don't give up. And I won't give up if you don't give up. No, I won't give up if you don't give up. No, I won't give up if you don't give up. I need a sign to let me know you're here. 'Cause my TV set just keeps it all from being clear. I want a reason for the way things have to be. I need a hand to help build up some kind of hope inside of me. And I'm calling all angels. Calling all you angels. Children have to play inside so they don't disappear, while private eye South marriage lies, 'cause we don't talk for years. And football teams are missing queens, losing sight of having dreams. In a world that what we want is only what we want until it's ours. And I'm calling all angels. And I'm calling all you angels. And I'm calling all angels. And I'm calling all you angels. Calling all you angels.
Well, thank you, Julian. And welcome back. Welcome back to all of our guests out there. We do apologize for keeping you waiting. We had some technical difficulties, but we have a great morning planned. And for those of you just tuning in, this is day 2 of our virtual week, Calling All Angels 2021. We do want to encourage you to go to our website, callingallangels2021.org. Check out all of our items, services, unique auction experiences that are hosted on our online auction. So these were generously donated by individuals, local businesses in our community. So be sure to get your bids in. The online auction will close on Friday evening during our grand finale. You also will have an opportunity to bid on, purchase raffle tickets, name your angel, as well as make a donation. So there's a lot of opportunities on our website to get involved. So today we are focusing on growing a healthy community.
Good morning. When you think of Altman Hospital, the word that comes to mind outside of patient care is community. Perhaps because Altman was Stark County's first hospital, founded in 1892, and been a center of our community ever since. Maybe it's because of its presence in our community, with its main campus located in the heart of our community and many satellite facilities throughout. Or it could be the fact that Altman employs more than 7,000 employees, all that live in our community and surrounding communities. Or maybe it's because of the amazing work that Altman does in our community through outreach programs, getting involved in supporting our community that supports us. Years ago, when I was an employee of Altman Hospital, I had the wonderful opportunity to work in community relations and experience firsthand the incredible work that Altman did making a difference in our community. Whether it was through our Wellness on Wheels program that would go out to schools, community groups, churches, and teach young people about healthy eating habits or personal hygiene, or whether it was through our Safety First program, where Altman employees volunteered and go out to every single second grade classroom in Stark County and teach the second graders about bike safety and provide them all with a free bicycle helmet. Through my experiences at Altman Hospital, it's the big things and it's the little things. It's the impact that we make, it's the partnerships that we have, and how we all work together to support each other. Altman's mission is leading our community to improved health. When we have a healthy community, we have a strong community. When we work together to strengthen our community, we have stronger families, a stronger economy, a stronger downtown, and altogether, a wonderful place to live. When you think of Canton or Stark County, one of the first things that comes to mind when you tell someone I'm from Canton is, oh, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is a part of our history, it is a part of our culture, and we are proud of the legacy that we have as the hometown of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. While Altman has many partnerships, many of which we will highlight today, we would like to take a moment and reflect and talk a little bit about the partnership that we have with the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so our next interview is Pro Football Hall of Fame President and CEO David Baker. Canton, Ohio is home to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, home to football, and no one embodies the spirit of excellence better than David Baker. So let's hear directly from him.
As we emerge from this pandemic, we're about to have the greatest gathering, I think, in the history of football. When the NFL was formed here in Canton 100 years ago, it was in the immediate aftermath of the 1918 and 1919 Spanish flu pandemic. And now, as we kind of emerge from this coronavirus pandemic, I think we're heading towards some other good times as well. So it's a wonderful opportunity for Canton to tell the rest of the country how to reemerge from this and get our economy going again, how to educate our kids, how to make advances in healthcare. Altman Hospital is our full-time hospital and healthcare partner. So one of the things that they do that most of the people in Canton don't know is that when we bring back all of our gold jackets and their wives and widows of those families for the enshrinement, we have healthcare inspections and evaluations on each of our Hall of Famers, on the widows. And Altman does that for us every year. And they also are involved with us when we have clinics and kids and other things here. But they are a very trusted partner and have been for every year I've been here. Organizations like Altman and the fine physicians and nurses and staff that they have who do such a great job. And to have somebody like that you can rely on so that you can perform at a high level and have a great quality of life, what they do for our community is unmatched. I've been to several angel auctions, and in fact was invited a couple times to be a master of ceremonies along with Mike Galena and Todd Pugh and a few others. And remember specifically one time where I was handling the auction for a trip to Europe and Ed Roth was sitting next to my wife bidding on her behalf for a trip that I'm not sure I could afford, but bought anyways. But that's the fun. There's some wonderful things in this auction, but I also will tell you that, you know, this is a wonderful experience this year to do it a little bit differently. Instead of having those 500 exclusive people who are at the auction, this is opportunity for all of you virtually to be involved and to participate in something, because there's a lot of wonderful things here, and it's for an incredible cause.
Thank you, David Baker. The passion that he embodies when he speaks about football in the Hall of Fame. Even if you were not a football fan at all, you will be after listening to David Baker. We are so fortunate to have him and his amazing team here at the Hall of Fame. You know, as a local person, grew up around here, the Pro Football Hall of Fame has always been a major part of our community. But in recent years, the way that it has grown and the impact that it is providing is truly amazing.
It really is.
You know, one of our, as we were speaking about partnerships, something interesting, I'm very involved in the downtown community, in the arts particularly. And there was this partnership between the Hall of Fame and Arts and Stark, talking about putting public art related to football downtown. And when I heard about this, I initially thought it's going a little too far. I pictured these big footballs were going to be, you know, ruining the aesthetic downtown. Little did I know what an amazing project that it would be, partnering with local artists and national artists to truly display the uniqueness of our community, our town, and do it in such an artful way. We are currently on 9 of the 11s. We have 2 more to unveil. The first one is the Birth of the NFL, which is an amazing sculpture right across from City Hall. But the point of this ultimately is to create a walking path downtown, beginning from City Hall all the way up through the Cultural Center. So even if football's not your jam, you know, it's just really neat. But I love how the community comes together, football and art. Let's do it. And it's always an exciting week to be in Canton when we have the Hall of Fame festivities. It's great to be here. It's a great place to visit. And it's a whole week-long celebration. And I always get excited about those. Don't you, Jody?
Oh, I do too. I know, you know, my family, we really enjoy the Hall of Fame parade. That's always our favorite event, you know, during all of the Hall of Fame festivities. Always looking forward to that Saturday morning.
Yes, we have a great time. For years, my husband's office has actually been located on the parade route. And it's the most exciting Saturday morning of the year, truly. It's 8 a.m. and we're excited, we gather, and one of our favorite activities that we do, we sort of started this tradition. We wear Spin It t-shirts, and as the parade is going along, when they have the big balloons, we all get very into it. And in unison, we go, spin it, spin it. And when they do, it is the greatest delight of all time.
Yeah, even the kids participate in this.
Yes,
and
I
have
think
some
there
fun
was.
with it.
Yeah, I think there was a picture of my daughter and your daughter as well. But it's a wonderful time to be in Canton.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, our next guests are 2 of our downtown champions. So Steve Kuhn, founder and owner of Kuhn Restoration, and Tony Lee, local restaurateur. Both Steve and Tony are truly, you know, committed to the economic development of our downtown area as well as Stark County. So let's hear from Steve and Tony.
Started doing work here in Canton at a very young age. I started at 15 years of age. I was part of a company that my father worked for that restored the McKinley Monument. I've started buying old historic buildings, restoring them, and actually the building we're at right now is one of those. This building was vacant for 38 years, and now it's 100 luxury apartments, and it's people that have just kind of They're feeding the whole downtown. We've got Altman Hospital here, and they are a part of our community, and we can all build around that. This is probably our 38th or 40th year at the Angel Auction. I think my wife and I was like 21 years old when I started going, and I've been a part of the Angel Auction ever since. It's easy to talk about things you love, and you know, I can do that about Altman all day long. When I was in the 4th grade, I had a heart murmur and rheumatic fever, and I didn't realize I had red spots all over me, and I guess didn't feel real good. And I was in Altman Hospital for a couple of months. It was a lot of fun for me. The food was great, and everybody was nice to me, but I was there a long time. And after a while, I kind of felt like, look, this is home. I mean, you know, it's everything. You know, you go into some of these communities that don't have a strong hospital base. That's really the center of your community. From, again, like when I was a young child until now, and even my parents, you know, they're in their 80s, and it's important to have a place that you can go where you're part of that family. All of my kids were born at Altman. All 9 of my grandkids were born at Altman. So when I say, you know, we're really part of the community and Altman's a part of our family, they really are.
I didn't really discover downtown Canton until I was probably 21, 22, even though I was born and raised here. My family had a restaurant in Belton Village, and where I pretty much grew up at, and had my passion for the restaurant industry kind of developed. I support Altman because it's such a great employer to members of our community. It's also where I had my beautiful son at. It is so instrumental to have a hospital like Altman in our community. Especially as someone that's vested myself in all my businesses, to have a hospital like Altman and to have a strong community just take care of each other and watch one's back it's just a plus for everybody in the community.
Thank you so much, Steve and Tony. We are so fortunate to have you as wonderful supporters and members of our community in Altman Hospital. I couldn't believe it when I was speaking with Steve as we were setting up the interview about downtown, and he shared with me how he was in Altman Hospital for, I think, 4 or 6 weeks, as he mentioned, and you all saw the photo. So, I mean, his experience and relationship with Altman goes way, way back. Also, if you guys haven't checked out, Steve and Tony recently reopened Luca downtown, and please check it out if you get the opportunity. It's awesome, and we're very thankful for them. Speaking of faces of downtown, at this time, I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce a dear friend, fellow Women's Board member, and community champion, Barbara Abbott.
Good morning, girls.
Good morning, Barb.
Barb is founder of Canton Food Tours. If any of you have taken one of the amazing food tours downtown, you get to learn history of Canton, check out the local restaurants, and eat, drink, and have fun along the way. It's a wonderful experience. And Barb is also an author and historian. And Barb's written a book called Stark County Food, From Early Farming to Modern Meals, which is actually an amazing book with the history of Stark County food, as well as history of our community in general. So thank you so much, Barb, for joining us.
Absolutely. So the namesake of our hospital is in my food book, and it all starts in 1841 when Cornelius Altman was born in East Canton. And then his family moved to Greentown, and it was there as a young adult and into adulthood where through various business ventures, he became a very wealthy man in the manufacturing and sale of farming equipment. So the grain is raised, it needs harvested, and he was the guy. Buckeye mower was one of the more popular and successful items or farming machinery. So, and by wealthy, I mean he's largely known as Stark County's first millionaire. He built a beautiful mansion. Unfortunately, you can't drive by it today, but you can drive by the site, which is our cultural center. And you can also see, I don't know if you've ever been in the art museum to see the front doors of the mansion. They're hanging prominently in the art museum. So next time you're in the cultural center, look for the giant doors with the etched in A in the glass that stands for Altman. Now, he had always expressed an interest in contributing to a hospital for our community. If you can imagine, girls, our city was founded in 1805, and largely through the 19th century, we had no dedicated hospital. So that was one of his philanthropic wishes. Now, he passed away in 1884. His wife Catherine and daughter Elizabeth took up the cause, and in 1890, the cornerstone for our hospital was laid at the site where our main hospital is today off of Tuscarawas. And 4th of July of that year, the building was completed, but it wouldn't be until January of 1892, as you alluded to earlier, that the doors would be open. Now, here's the thing. Hospital's open, brand new building, may have had a ribbon cutting or shovel in the ground, and no patients for almost a month. And it took an unfortunate fall, a slip on the ice for Mrs. Meyer of 151 West Tusk. And she didn't even take her, there was no 911, no ambulance to whisk her away to this new hospital. Her physician had to come and take her. Now, Mr. Norman Dubel, that was a more unfortunate accident than a slip on the ice. He was out probably springtime of that year, 1892, on his high roller, which meant one of the bikes with the large front wheels, which I'm never going to try.
Right.
And Norman did have an accident, hit his head. That would have been Altman's first surgery, first operation. Unfortunately, he did not make it. Now, that was 1892. Take a guess, girls, on when the first baby was delivered in our hospital.
Let's go.
1893?
Yeah.
Close,
later.
but later, 1897. It would take 5 years because people were not used to a dedicated hospital. They were somewhat leery.
That's
now
what I was going to ask. If the hospital was open and we didn't have patients for almost a month, is it because they were kind of afraid it was sort of a more modern concept at that time?
Exactly, all of that. And picture this. So if you are coming from Akron down 77, going to a meeting downtown, if you're like me, you often get stuck at that red light there on Tusk. Next time you're stuck, look at the CVS, look at the AutoZone there, and picture that that would have been the end of pavement coming from downtown. Now, when I say pavement, I don't mean smooth roads like we're going to go home on today, but cobblestone or bricks. So when the hospital was open, and probably up until the early teens of the 1900s, it wasn't an easy ride. And I'm telling you, I would not want to think about like Mrs. Meyer with a fractured leg bumping in that carriage ride, because from Harrison to where the hospital is today, it would have been rudimentary roads, dirt paths. That would not have been a fun or comfy ride there. So it was all of that and more. But first hospital, Altman, 1892. Now, for the first 77 years, girls, we weren't there. The Women's Board did not exist for the first 77 years, and it would be 1969 when we started. You know, we had our big 50th celebration a couple of years ago. And do you remember where the early angel auctions were held?
It was a restaurant.
Yeah,
wasn't
restaurant.
Murgus.
Okay, I've heard that
Murgus
name.
was the
yes.
first. And then it moved to a couple other restaurants in Onesto, the banquet room, back to Murgus for the first 5 or 6 years. But Joy Timken took the event to the cultural center. We quickly needed to expand into the Civic Center, and for 44 years, as you know, because we have been a big part of it, the angel auctions have been held there until last year.
Yes.
Yes, which is really amazing because the Cultural Center, I believe you mentioned, was Cornelius Altman's mansion. So it's sort of come full circle in many ways. Although it's not longer there, it's still the ground. But I think that's great. Thank you so much, Barb.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Please support our hospital. Cornelius Altman found a need in the community to have a hospital. We are continuing that need today. Thank you so much.
And Barb, real quick, if someone was interested in a copy of your book, where can they get it?
Oh, thank you. Website, cantonfoodtours.com.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Barb.
Thank you, Barb. Well, our next interview is with Steve and Lisa Gregory. I'm truly honored to introduce both Steve and Lisa. You know, they have been longtime supporters of Altman Hospital. I'll let them share their story, but Steve is a board member for Altman Health Foundation. Both Steve and Lisa were cabinet chairs for the Timken Family Cancer Center. Lisa, who's a dear friend to me, has been a women's board member since 2002. She was an angel auction co-chair with Denise Hill in 2008, and she served as women's board president from 2010 to 2012. So meet Lisa and Steve.
When my father moved the company into Canton, Ohio in 1957, he became involved with the hospital, and we've been with the hospital ever since. He progressed to the board, became chairman of the board, and on various committees. And then in the 80s, early 90s, I started getting involved, went on the board late 90s, and kind of followed his footsteps and became chairman, and was very pleased that he was there the day that I was sworn in, if you would.
Dr. Warburton was my great uncle. I grew up across the street from him, and I remember building this building and running around downstairs in the basement. And so Altman has been in our family too. My mom was a nurse who graduated from Altman.
First, it's a great hospital. You get great care. And then also with my corporate hat on, it's very competitive. They're a community hospital. You know, they're your neighbors that are servicing you, whether it's the doctor, the nurse, the technicians, and they give you that good feeling.
It feels like home to us. And, you know, our families, we were brought up with Altman. I was born at Altman.
Altman's been very good to us. It's a great hospital. It's good for our family, but particularly it's good for our employees.
You know, when Ed asked us to chair the capital campaign, we didn't even have to think about it. It was like, absolutely, we'll do that. When I first joined the women's board, it was a little intimidating, but the women are so nice and just so warm and welcoming. And then as president, I was fortunate that we actually voted for the $5 million pledge for the Cancer Center, which was the biggest pledge to date for them. And also we opened the Compassionate Care Center when I was president. And Steve and I volunteered there for many years. Before Compassionate Care Center opened, I spent the last 5.5 days with this guy behind me, and I never left the hospital. My sister and I sat by his bedside 5 straight days. And Dr. Grossman was the doctor then. And I formed such a great relationship with him. And that is what brought us to donate the spa at the Compassionate Care. When I met Dr. Grossman after he took care of my uncle, I was sitting beside him at a luncheon, and he was telling me about a patient at the place he had been prior that this place wanted to put in a spa, a whirlpool tub, and he thought it was so frivolous. And he looked at me, he said, but the first patient that went in it was a male who had been in a coma for years, and they lowered him into the tub, and he opened his eyes and he smiled. I'm a tub girl, so I went home that night and I said, Steve, if we're gonna do something for Compassionate Care, we're gonna do the spa. And still to this day, I mean, people will be there with their families, and I'll get a text in the middle of the night, like, I just walked down the hall and I saw the Warburton Gregory Spa, and I just feel like I'm at home. And that means so much.
Altman means a lot. We have the family tradition that goes back. We've established great relationships and friendships with a lot of the people, the docs, the executives, but also the technicians. And it's great to walk down a hall and be able to say hi to somebody and know that they're there and they really care about you.
Thank you so much, Steve and Lisa, for that wonderful sentiments and for all that you do for Altman over the years. You truly are amazing, genuine, wonderful people, and we are so thankful to have you here in our community.
So now at this time, in the studio with us, we have Tina Biasella. Tina is the Vice President of Cancer Services at Altman Hospital, and she's going to touch on, as Lisa and Steve referenced in their interview, the Timken Family Cancer Center. Tina, just last week, we broke ground on the Cancer Center. So for those in the community that aren't familiar with the project, can you tell us a little bit more about the center?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me this morning. What a great day last week when we broke ground on the Timken Family Cancer Center. It's been a long time coming, a fabulous project for the community. But as you know, Altman is the leader when it comes to cancer care in our community. And Altman has a rich history of investing in services, technology, and providers to make sure that residents of our community are always receiving that top-notch care. But what we don't have is a comprehensive center in which all of this care is rendered. Right now, our services are fragmented, and cancer patients are walking to a number of different areas over the facility to receive their care. So this center brings all of that into one location. It comprised of a 45,000 square foot new addition to the campus, which is really exciting, and 13,000 square feet of renovation of existing space in our radiation oncology unit. And this building is going to house cancer services of all kinds: medical oncology, GYN oncology, palliative care services, infusion services, radiation, and it's really just going to transform the care that we provide to patients in our community.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Sure, a labor of love for you.
Absolutely, it's been an incredible journey.
Such exciting news here in our community. So many individuals contributed to this project. Can you touch on how the community was vital to making this a reality?
Yes, this really is a project of the community. When we embarked on this $28 million facility, we knew that we were going to have to ask for the community's help. And the Women's Board was really the start of that. In 2012, they took on their largest pledge ever of $5 million for the Timken Family Cancer Center, which really started that seed of community giving so that we can have this fabulous facility. And many people in the community have contributed to this, too many people to name. The Timken family with the lead gift of $3 million in the naming of the center, the Stark Community Foundation, the Hoovers, the Dubles, and so many other community leaders and grateful patients. And this is really just going to transform and bring that next level cancer care to patients in our community close to home.
And when will construction be completed? Do we know?
Yeah, so the renovation portion in radiation oncology will be done in winter of this year, and the building will be done in summer of 2022.
Okay, 2022.
Yeah.
Wow.
So seeds of community giving. I love that.
It's been a fabulous project.
Well, we could not be more excited. This is such a wonderful addition and gift to our community. Thank you so much, Tina, for all that you have done leading this charge. And thank you to everyone in our community that has contributed to this amazing project.
Yeah. Again, thank you for joining us this morning. We encourage you to check out our website, callingallangels2021.org. So place your bids, buy your raffle tickets, name your angel. So for a $50 donation, you can honor, commemorate, celebrate a loved one, a family member, a friend, a healthcare hero. So those names will be displayed in the Bedford lobby at Altman Hospital for 1 year. So again, we encourage you to name your angel. You can buy merchandise, you can donate. Everything is housed on our website, callingallangels2021.org. And all of the proceeds from our virtual celebration will benefit Altman Hospital and patient care initiatives. So again, we want to encourage your engagement. We also want to encourage you to tune in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Yes, thank you everyone that joined us today. Tomorrow we have an exciting day scheduled as we honor the Women's Board legacy. At this time, we're going to turn it back over to Julian Corrett, who is going to wrap us up for the day. Thank you for joining us today, Julian.
Thank you for having me. Between our fingers feels too cold. The air between our lips is getting old. And I thought I would be fine being alone, but I can't hold your voice over the phone. The words you speak are sweetness to my ears. Your eyes so bright they try to ease my fears. And I thought I would be fine by myself. But hey, you know, at least I have my help. I miss you with a misery that keeps me company. And from its hollow well, I draw these tears. So while my skin keeps calling out your name, I know there's more of us that feel the same. And I thought the thought would help me carry on. But man, it feels like I'm the only one when I see you again. It won't be from a distance when I see you again. I will take the path of least resistance into your arms, into your arms. The shining sun seems like a joke to me. Your smile is only everything I see. And I thought that I was gonna be alright. But every passing hour knows that's just a lie. I miss you with a misery that keeps me company. And from its hollow well, I draw these tears. Some people think the world is gonna end. Well, I just want to hold my dearest friend. And I thought eventually I'd be just fine. But I've forgotten how to measure time. When I see you again, it won't be from a distance. When I see you again, I will take the path of least resistance into your arms, into your arms, into your arms, into your arms.